Michelle Hon, and this is the Chill Mom Boss Show, where Mom Boss goal is possible with the right strategies and a little bit of determination. Today, in our Mom Boss Spotlight, we have with us my dear friend Yvon Bock, who is the founder of a recognized local brand that designs and innovates breastfeeding products. She's also the recipient of Women Entrepreneur of the Year 2018. Welcome, Yvonne.
Hi, Michelle. Thanks for having me.
And thank you so much for taking your time to be
Sure.
with us today. So I think, I've introduced you. So is there anything else you'd like to tell our audience?
Well,
Anything else
I
about
think you
yourself?
did a very good introduction for me. And I think I love to share that I'm a mommy of 4.
Yeah.
And I have a breastfeeding journey of a total 10 years. And that was also the reason behind why I started Hegen.
And before we start, I also like to get to know you a little bit more. And how were you like as a child?
Okay, that brings back a lot of memories.
Yeah.
As a little girl, I remember growing up in the factory, my dad's factory, and the aunties were my friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was always a very curious little girl asking a lot of questions. How do you do it? And can I help you do it? And then when they have all the scrap materials, I'll be picking them up, making it into like dolls and dresses for the dolls.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think that was really the playground that I could remember.
Right. So do you think you're the same girl who likes to, create stuff and make new things, innovate?
Actually, I think that was the reason why I am who I am today. So I love asking questions, and it kind of like instilled into even the business, into my team, my family. I always believe in asking questions and stay curious. So continual learning is very important in the team spirit. Yeah, so we have to learn a thing a day, like including even like how to improve the communication between colleagues.
Yeah.
And then I also think that that was the reason why I have that inventor spirit in me, like to pick up things and try to create them into something else better. Yeah.
Oh, great. That's a very important point, because I think a lot of women, especially, we have trouble asking for help, asking questions. We feel like we shouldn't trouble others. I personally, I have that problem as well. I feel like maybe I should just figure everything by myself. And when it gets too hard, we're like, okay, maybe this is not meant for me.
Right.
So thank you for bringing that up, that it's okay to ask for help.
Yes.
That you're not being seen weak in a way.
Actually, it's very important to ask questions, ask for help. I think when we want to succeed in something, it should not be just me. It should be a we thing.
Yeah.
So we involve the people around us and communicate with them, right? So when we ask questions, it's in a way directing them, understanding where we are getting to. Yeah.
And we are not born knowing everything, right? We need to learn from people around us. Yeah. Okay. So why this business? I have to ask. I understand that your family background has always been in manufacturing.
Yes.
And but why? How did you get yourself into it?
Okay. So after becoming mom for the 4th time, I started to realize I'm experiencing all the pain points, particularly most mothers will, from expressing to storing the milk to feeding. And being a working mom, I wanted to prolong the journey. That was my only way to stay connected with my baby when I'm away, because I travel a lot for my work.
Yeah.
And it's so clunky. The whole process was so clunky. I was like going on a camp every day with that parachute bag. So I thought, okay, enough. I need to create an ecosystem, integrate this whole process so seamlessly, right, that it becomes a lifestyle. It improves the quality of life for breastfeeding mothers. And also it makes us feel like, hey, it's beautiful, this whole is a trendy thing.
Yeah.
I want to do it, and it's not hassle anymore. I want to make it part of my life, part of my even work life.
Yeah, it's true. Like, cause your bottles are so beautiful, and like after you express your milk, you probably won't feel shy to put in the
Yes.
the company.
Just make
fridge,
sure you
right?
label these are not
Just
for
label,
coffee.
and it's like it's stacked up and it's nicely connected, and it doesn't look like a milk bottle, an odd milk bottle in an office environment. I totally get that. So thank you very much for making that journey easier for a lot of working moms. And I think breastfeeding also, like going back to work while you're breastfeeding, is also a reason why they stop breastfeeding earlier.
Yeah, that's right. I think that is one of the key reasons that moms chose to give up breastfeeding. And the survey actually show us, right, that very low percentage, like out of 95% mom kickstart breastfeeding journey, but only 21 pursue for 6 months or more. That's a very low percentage. And the nutrients, the goodness, the bonding that breastfeeding could bring to mommy and the baby is priceless. So if we can help and also encourage mothers to prolong, working moms to prolong this entire journey, and at the same time, do not give up on your own personal dream, entrepreneur dream. That's what we strive to do. And that is my personal mission.
So on that note, right, you just shared your story with me, which I felt chills listening to it, and I felt like you definitely should share this with the audience. And on your purpose, like a lot of us think, oh, it's hard to find a passion, a purpose. And how do you get to yours?
Interestingly, when I first joined the family business, right, I was also wondering, what's my purpose, Am I just here to help out with the business? What exactly I need to do and all that. And one day, actually allow me to share this very intimate experience with all of you. So after having the 4th child, I remember when I was about to be sent to the delivery suite, giving birth, right? The doctor, nurses, and even hospital has say that because of multiple cesarean, and this is your 4th cesarean, there will be a high risk. And then, so you have to sign this disclaimer. These are the list of potential risks. Please take note, complications. And then the first line was rupturing the bladder. I'm like, rupture bladder? How often could that be? How like
can't be me.
Can't be me, And then I went in. The next thing, when I was regaining the consciousness from the GA, I saw the blood drip, and then the nurses was calling my name out very anxiously, making sure that I wake up. I just flipped. I was so angry. I was filled with a lot of, I don't know why, but just resentment. And I was asking questions, why me? Because seeing that blood is something went wrong, right?
You knew something was wrong.
I was really upset. And to be honest, right, I transformed into like Incredible Hulk, like all kind of languages came out. I don't think it was me, and I don't know what happened. So I scolded everybody, and I told them to leave me alone. And when I arrived at the recovery, the ward, I remember my parents, my in-laws, my husband, and my late grandmother, all of them were surrounding the bed, calling my name, being very concerned, and all of them has this frown, like this concern. And I was so upset. Instead of feeling love, right, I was angry and I chased everybody out. It's not nice, but I don't know, it was uncontrollable and I didn't want to see anybody. And then I remember I tried to, calm down, and I was very upset with everything. And the next day when I decided, okay, I want to get out of bed to go to wash up on my own. So I remember seeing this catheter because bladder was ruptured, so I have that. And I have the
So by that point,
blood.
you knew that your bladder was ruptured.
Yeah.
You knew how
So the
how
doctor
serious
has
it
to
was.
actually very softly and slowly tell me, because I was very angry. I asked a lot of questions. I was like, why me? Why? Tell me why. Is this blah, blah, blah,
What
blah, blah.
went wrong? Is it something you do to me?
Yeah, exactly. So the doctor has to be very, careful, and I think he was very sweet and nice. He was reassuring me that don't worry, everything will be fine. So I have this, I call it my Prada bag. And then I have this blood bag. Then I have to push everything to the toilet, right? I told the nurses, I can do it myself.
Yeah.
Don't worry,
Okay.
just challenging,
The strong Yvonne.
just headstrong and angry with the world, And then that moment when I stood in front of the mirror, I saw myself alive. And then I saw my baby in the reflection. So that moment hit me very hard. And I asked myself, hey, I should be very happy. I should cherish this moment. I have 4 kids.
Yeah.
I'm alive. I'm here
Yeah.
to spend time with all of them. Why am I angry? I should be happy and do something. I should give back and thank, heaven for this life.
Yeah.
So that actually was the trigger, and that hit me, and I realized my calling was to be able to give back to the breastfeeding community in my way. So that was the start of the journey. Yeah.
Yeah. And we also talk about, thank you so much for sharing that. I think that must be quite, sometimes it brings us back to that moment, and we needed that moment.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us needed that low to become better, because if we're just comfortable, life is all dandy, then we would never realize that life can be better, and how appreciative of what we have right now.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you know why? Would you like to know why I call the brand Hegen?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. So naming the brand was like naming my 5th child.
Yes.
And I spent a lot of time thinking, like, if I want to give back, what does it mean, and how I want this child to grow up to be, what's the aspiration I want for the baby. And Hegen, if you translate it directly, it means cherish, right? Because that was the moment I felt. And then in a bigger movement, actually, Hegen is part of this old German idiom. It's Hegen und Pflegen, which means what you take, you give back in your own way.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was very instrumental. It's very close to what it means to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And naming it that reminds you every day that this is the purpose of the whole brand.
Yes.
This is what you want to do with the brand.
Yes.
And I think having a purpose for yourself and the brand and your business on how you can help people kind of drive you through the dark days as well. Because as we know, entrepreneurship in general isn't easy. We probably have more of our hard days and low days more than we have the,
We're nodding our head very hard.
Exactly, right? So people only see the time you receive your award, but what they don't see is all the hard work before that actually happens, right? And we met up for lunch one time, and Yvonne shared with me about how hard it is. It was to even launch. You didn't even know how to launch a product, and she was again, it's go back to your willingness to ask people.
Yes.
To ask people, so how do you launch a product? And then a parent, a fellow parent,
a fellow rugby parent friend. He was very kind to actually talk to me, and we were having a very casual conversation. So he was very sweet. He's like, so how's it going? I heard that you're gonna launch your brand. I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know how to start. I have never done a retail brand. All my experience has been in the factory and all that. He said, oh, cool. Don't worry. So you need this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you have contacts for these people? No, I don't know. She's like, okay, I'll make some calls. If you don't mind, I will link you up to people. I'm like, sure. And then, true enough, he actually helped us map out what we need for a launch. These are the contacts. He linked us up to the right people. As a startup, we need to be very cost efficient. Yeah. So mapping us to the right vendors, right partners. And then he was there at the launch to make sure, he flew back from an overseas business trip right into like the event, and he's like there to give us that moral support. I think asking questions, getting help, we will get amazing help in many ways. And until today, I will never forget those help that or the breakthroughs that people gave me during those years.
And I think for entrepreneurs or mom as well, is we don't need to know everything to start something. We don't need to get it perfect yet. As long as you know where to get help, be resourceful. Isn't it? So that's a good story to illustrate that point. I also like to ask, when you started, you said you just had your fourth child, you just went through this difficult birth, and at what point did you start the business?
Okay, so it took us from that point another 5 years to do R&D, over 200 prototypes.
There you go, right? There's no overnight success. There's actually a lot of long years of hard work that goes behind the scene before you even launch.
That's right. And then after that, there was like intellectual property registrations. So behind the scene, there were a lot of this preparation work. So it took us about close to 6 years, 5 over 6 years. Then we finally launched. And that was only launch.
Yes, that's how it becomes exciting. So does it mean it takes more than 5 years from ideation to the actual product launch?
Yes.
And to making your first dollar?
Yes. It actually takes a while. So when we have the first idea, we have to continue to reiterate, to design, improve, right? So that is the process, because for baby product, there is no try and error. When we get it out to the baby, we must make sure it's first time right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It has to be safe.
Safe, reliable, and lasting for the baby, right? Baby doesn't talk. I always say that, they can't tell you that I don't like the product, they can be very flustered. We don't want moms to go through that. They have enough on their plate. So that's why we put in additional efforts and time to make sure first time right. Then IP registration is actually the very long process. So I remember we filed in 2013. We only get the green light in 2015.
Oh wow, 2 years.
2 years plus, and during that process, it was quite hilarious, because it's like, I have a product, I have this brand, but I can't tell you. I can't tell you more. What is the brand? And it's a very revolutionary product.
So
I invented a certain patent pending feature. Tell me more. I can't really. Then it's like every partner or retailer, when they meet me, right? They think that this girl is daydreaming. She's talking in her sleep.
Also, you actually have started talking to retailer even though it was in IP. So so you're not wasting any time just hanging out.
We have to do some deep stick, because just sit and wait. Or I will say that during that process, you get very anxious. It's very scary. Like, am I doing it the right way? It's been 3 years, it's been 4 years, it's been 5 years, and we have not seen a single income. So that is the part where we have to, also prepare ourselves. Every business or the startup journey, it's not smooth sailing. It's not immediately you see results. You have to be patient, and then even when you see the first result, you have to be resilient, because then you will meet challenges and how you improve along the way. It's a continual learning, continual challenge, continual improvement.
Right. I find that you have this amazing belief that it works. Maybe because of the years of R&D, you know that this is what moms need, and I really truly believe in it, although it takes you 5 years. And you must have like a strong support system.
Yes, I do.
So how do you gather your support troop, or do you talk to them and tell them I need your support, and how does that come about?
Yes, communicating. So support is all around us. See how we view it. I always say we have 5 pillars of strength, and my 5 pillars of strength is my husband, um, my parents and my in-laws, then my BFFs, all my girlfriends, you know, yeah, the cheerleaders, and then my children,
Yeah.
yeah, and also very important, the team members in the office, yeah. So when we first started out, I was very privileged to have the support from my father's factory side. So because we have been an OEM manufacturer, so there are resources that we can tap on, we can share. It wasn't free. You have to actually, you know, talk to your investor, which are my parents, you know, that okay, give me, this is the, we do have a business plan, and when Hegen has to pay back, and to, you know, that there is this real business
side.
pitch. Yeah. So it's important, even if it's a family business, we cannot take it for granted.
Yeah.
So we pitch it like I was pitching it to my parents, like, believe me, this is the product. We're gonna get this deal, and watch Shark Tank.
Right. There's still a slight bias, I'm sure, but everything still is done black and white. It can't be
But
because
honestly, sometimes being in a family business, sorry daddy, mommy, but it's also very hard because you have a higher expectations to meet, and then you have not just the visible, the tangible expectations, you also have this invisible responsibility on your shoulder, that reputation, parents' money. It's more than just an investor. There are many facets to it. So for people who are from family business, don't worry, we all go through it together. And I share, and I realize a lot of second generation, we feel the same. So it's a journey, it's a learning, and sometimes to convince our own family that idea, it takes a lot of determination. It takes maybe double how you convince an investor. Yeah, because they know you from birth. Right? So sometimes we mix our personal and our work, but maybe we are two different personality, you know. But don't give up.
So it's great that you know, you managed to work out this family working relationship in a way, and navigate that. You know, I think you probably can't take things too personally when it's said to you. It's like, why are you saying that to me? I'm your daughter. But you really need to come to it as, you know, we're in a business together. I don't want to, you know, lose their money or, you know, be accountable.
Correct. For me, was the other way around. Because when I'm passionate about something, or I'm pitching an idea, or I'm very headstrong about a certain way to do certain things, my parents might feel a little bit overwhelmed, like, wow, where did my little girl gone to? Like, wow, are you talking to me like a daughter, or, you know?
So they are the one who sometimes feel like, okay, maybe you should just be like a family.
Yeah, because we have a very traditional upbringing. So there's always, you know, respect towards elders, and parents are the biggest role models, or, you know, biggest.
Shouldn't talk back.
We cannot talk back. So that was the part I learned as well. And now that we have spent many years working together, we have overcome that. And so when I need to trigger, the trick is when I need to trigger my dad to know that it's work, I will call him Mr. Chan.
So he knows,
okay, I'm talking to him as a boss, as a business discussion. And then when I want to manja a little bit, I want his you know, moral support, but that sayang, you know, that then I just say daddy. Then he know, okay. Like,
so he knows what role to play with you. So that's very helpful. I never thought of it that way, but I think that would be very helpful for, because sometimes we know what we want as the role the other person is playing, but the other person doesn't know what you need from me today.
Ready.
So that different calling them by different names.
Correct.
Okay, awesome. So I think we talked about accountability, and I think like a lot. I don't like to talk about this topic, but I think a lot of us go through it. Mom guilt. Do you
I
have
was
those
just talking
days?
about it yesterday night.
I know, like people, we're all talking about it, but in a way, I also like to tell like our mom bosses out there that they really shouldn't. And how do you get through yours?
Okay, so there are many occasions where this guilt of I'm not doing enough for my kids, I'm not there enough for my kids will hit me hard, you know. And then when I want to reach out to them and do certain things together and they reject me and say, oh mommy, I got my things to do, then that hits me even harder because like, oh, am I disconnected now? Like maybe they don't need me anymore. But I realized it's all a limiting belief that we put inside us.
Yeah.
You know. So when we have moments like this, right, it's actually very important to speak to friends, speak to fellow moms, speak to our spouse,
Yeah.
and even speak to our little ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've learned to involve my children and share with them what I'm going through. Like if I'm going for a gala event, they see me all dressed up like, oh, mommy having party. I say, oh, the purpose of this gala, what are we doing, you know? And then I get their opinion about how I look, what to match, and what should I do, you know? And they feel very excited. So it's kind of like getting their affirmation, their involvement in our day-to-day. So I think children are amazing, you know. So if we communicate, we share with them more, although sometimes we think that they don't understand, they are actually there for us.
Yeah, they do. They do know, and they are proud of you in a way that you probably don't know, or they don't tell you often. But they probably go to school and tell, they probably tell the schoolmates that my mom did this, my mom was on TV, or something like that.
I want to share with you. There was one interview by Channel News Asia. So part of it was to interview my children. So actually I was kind of nervous, like what are they going to say about me, right? And it was very touching. They really made me tear to hear how they look up to me and how they believed in my mission and they want to be there. And the way they like sell the whole concept. I'm like, wow, they are cool salespeople. I should rope them in for baby fairs, you know.
Soon.
Yeah, and those are the moments. I even have the recordings.
Of course.
Yeah, and sometimes
on the tough days, just replay it.
Just replay it. Yeah.
My children understand.
Yes.
You know, sometimes we put this. We are hard on ourselves, harder than they probably don't care. You know, that you're out of the house. Yay, freedom!
Yeah. So it's very important to snap out of it. Because sometimes it can really draw us.
And involving the kids and letting them know what you're going through. The good days, the bad days. And So before we end this, what is the one advice that you would give mom bosses out there?
Okay. I think it's important to go forward and try it. So don't live your life with what if. And I know that a lot of us, when we want to take that step, a lot of holding back, like what about the time with my kids? What about time with my husband? And all these factors will come into the picture. Just make sure that you set a routine or a certain time plan. Like for example, myself, morning part, I will walk my daughter to school. I will have a quick breakfast with my husband before we go to work together. And then when I come back home after 7, we have this we call D2C, which is disconnect to connect. So they have to charge their digital devices everywhere. So between 7 to 9 p.m. it's our time. So we spend time together. We can be silly together, goofing around. And then after 9, they have the permission to use their digital devices again. And also, I feel that ask questions, ask for help, but always remember to return that, gratitude in your own way to these people. So when you get help, next time, remember to also help the next fellow potential mompreneur.
So good. That's so good. That's more than one advice, by the way. But that's so true, right? That you got one life, make it count, be intentional about your
Yes.
days, how you spend time with others, and always give back. Thank you so much, Yvonne.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
Thank you so much.